Just as a reminder, make sure your cell phones are off or on silent, no texting or talking inside the courtroom.
All right, good morning again. Welcome to pretrial. At pretrial, we're going to be discussing your cases with the attorneys. I'm going to be inquiring of the attorneys what the status of the case is, whether there's reasonable cause to grant more time to prepare for the case, whether the case is in a position to resolve, or whether the case should be set for trial. You should have all met with your attorneys prior to this date and should have received an offer of resolution for your consideration. I'm going to take a couple of cases out of order that require the assistance of our live court reporter. State of Florida versus Stephan Sterns, 2024, CF 632.
Danielle Canal for the state.
Oh, we just don't know what happened with the attorney.
We'll receive the waiver of Mr. Sterns' appearance pursuant to our administrative order. That waiver is accepted. The court has also received what's reported to be an unopposed motion to continue. I noticed from reviewing the docket there's been 3 motions to suppress evidence filed on February 6th. Looks like those motions deal with a search and seizure of a cell phone and material contained therein. Those been coordinated with my office and set for hearing.
Not yet, Judge.
That has been continued twice before in April and July. Office of Public Defender's been on the case for almost a year. When do you anticipate resolving these motions?
There's one other motion that I have to file, and I'll be asking the court to hear before the motion to suppress. I intend to get that motion filed by the beginning of the week, and at the end of this week, but I'll be reaching out to Ms. Hackman in regards
What's the substance of it?
to regarding clothing order.
Ms. Fennell, the motion to continue was reported to be unopposed. You agree these matters need to be resolved prior to trial?
For the integrity of the case, yes, Judge. The evidence viewing that was scheduled in this case ended up having to be canceled because both Ms. Smith and I ended up in trial and the other attorneys were not available either. So that is scheduled in March, and I don't believe that we would be able to proceed to trial until the defense has had an opportunity to review that evidence and these motions are resolved.
Right, the matter is going to be continued without opposition from the state. Our next trial is going to be on April 22nd with a trial period that begins May 5th and runs through May 21st. My apologies, April 23rd will be the pre-trial date with a trial period that begins May 5th through May 21st. Anticipate that the motions and hearings will be scheduled in advance and heard and resolved in advance of the April 23rd pre-trial date. Anything further, Ms. Smith?
But I have a proposed order if the court needs it.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Nothing further. Your Honor.
Thank you. That'll conclude our pre-trial on Stephan Sterns, 2024 CF 632.
Does the court need a proposed order? You have to let us approve the motion.
State of Florida versus Larry Rose, 2022 CF 1914.
We just don't know what happened, Mr. Rose.
Catherine Marlowe on behalf of the state.
Mr. Rose appearance to be quick.
He
Mr.
might.
Rose present.
He might be downstairs. I hope they will proceed without him. He's not. I know the court has people already in the box and we have a lot of work for it.
I do. All right, let me take, can we take a couple of the votes in the inmates and then we'll make Mr. Rose check off as soon as he's in.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, correct. Very good. Yeah. Sergi. I couldn't resolve. I was trying to do it yesterday and save it one time, but look, I couldn't because the other one was already put out. I wanted to be able to speak on behalf of Mr. Edward. Mr. Edward, Deshaun, that's the one we're going to set it for a plea. Not even that. We're just set it for a plea. I want to have to yell something. Yeah, you can't. That's fine. Josh is a little bit late tonight. So, yeah, he hits the score system. So being married is a wonderful thing. It has one or two drawbacks. In days like today. Just go whenever he asks you to go. Just say, fine. If we have a work one day, just please just go. Get them off your, yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Mike. And I'm going to be your tour guide.
Liana Bobbitt.
Looks like he's communicating.
You know what? It's like people just kind of stay away as far away from the next day. Whenever you're there, you get sucked into the vortex of it's like a black hole. It just sucks you in, and then just the legal systems, the cat.
Alexis Encarnacion.
Just go.
Benjamin Espejo.
And if we have something pops up, which we most likely will.
I got it.
Mr. Edward. Sean.
Nope, you can't. No? Okay, let's see. Maybe I have one in here. No, it's okay. I just was recycling a plea form, but I can just grab another one. Oh, I found the white out.
Nancy's in my inbox too, so.
Alexander Figueroa.
I'm sorry?
You're on the light off. That's fine. You're not sorry.
It's just, it wasn't said on the agreement. It should be the animals, but put on, so it should be on there.
Yeah, I think you found it.
Again, if you guys are in the gallery, make sure your cell phones are off or on silent. You need to talk or text. Just step outside. We're not going to skip over you. Step outside. You guys just come back in. When you come to the podium, make sure your hands are not in your pocket. And no sunglasses. Gum? No gum shoes.
It doesn't apply to me.
continuously. I only have 2 cases, but I'm not even supposed to go out today. I just because no, because someone from your office withdrew later on in the game, so that's why. Yeah. All right, you go for that's fine. But then, all right, that's fine. Then please say Mr. Shields, our VIP, who wants to go next.
So I'm
After Miss Smith, it's a free fall. That's it.
If somebody's over here, or over here, how's that sound?
I was on the elevator this morning. This lady's like screaming. She's like, I don't want to go to the 10th floor. I said, ma'am, there is no 10th floor. She said, there is. I even know it. She goes, have you ever read the paper? Seen that you read the Da Vinci Code? Dan Brown. It's like, there is like a secret floor here. There's a 10th floor. I said, I assure you. She started screaming. She's like screaming. Like, I was going to tell her, man, you need to go before that. There's a good chance you're. So his attorney, his private attorney, continued his case in yesterday. So he, I mean, no, it's here. I think these people might be arraignments. I don't think these people are here for pre-trial. Unless they were specifically asked to be here. What? Those are pre-trial. Those are ones applied. They asked to have them brought up for police. If they don't think the judge brings them over anymore, let's just look. No, that's not my style. Your water, that's awesome. That's huge. I love that. I gotta say, you need to transport that there. That's heavy. But you know what though? You said something that's very telling. You have an office. You have an office. I do. In Castleberry, it's basically a closet. It's basically a closet with an AC that rattles through the And I think the last time I saw it was probably. I'm just not. When I'm here, I'm not going to stop. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm here every day, 6 months, more or less every day. And so because of that, I'm not going, I live in Dr. Phil, so I'm not going to go all the way back to come back. So, and they've accepted that. It was it was like grudgingly they're like, oh, okay. I work at Books A Million. I work at I do drive a Lincoln. There you go. Yeah, I have. It was not done intentionally. But that's a great show, by the way. Have you seen it on Netflix? The books are excellent. But so the last episode, I'm not going to spoil it. Let's just say it's high drama. You know what? I hate when they do that though, because we cancel Netflix. Once we binge our shows, we cancel until the next time we show shows up on fall.
That's why. I did. Yep.
We're going that way, but the problem is the way they disperse the streaming services. You're like, I have to get this one.
Stop your subscription.
You know what I like about Netflix? Netflix is like a moving melodrama. It's like soap opera. It's like a modern soap opera. Apple TV's got good stuff, especially the Steven Spielberg stuff. Like, I'm a history buff, so Masters of the Air. Has he read the book? I read the book because my great uncle was a B-17 pilot, and basically, I asked him, I said, "So what did you think about instead of being in the army?" He said, "Well." He said we had it every time we flew. It was 2 hours of pure terror. He said we wet our pants many times. But on the positive note, if you made it through, you had a warm shower and a nice warm bed back in England. And he says that was the trade-off. He says otherwise you could be freezing in Belgium or in France in a frozen trench with trench foot. I'm gonna be there in June. We're going to some. We already got our tour lined up. We're gonna spend 2 days doing all the British, Canadian, and American beaches. Then we go over to Mont Saint Michel, the big, which is fantastic. I lived in France for 2 years, so I'll make a fucking even though I'm down in the south. I'm down. What? It's interesting though. They literally could be two different countries because you know how in the U.S. you have 3,000 miles and geography changes gradually. In France, you're like a little compact country, and you go from like the Alps down to like the Mediterranean, which is like Southern California, and then to Normandy, and it's like just a complete forest everywhere. Yes. It's just like it's just one of the most beautiful country geographically. Switzerland's fantastic too, except you're freezing for 9 months out of the year. Nonetheless, they have beautiful views, right? You look at your window and see 12,000 foot. You know, that's why the Swiss are such good at making watches. That's how they get into watchmaking. Because during the winter time, you can't go outside. They would just sit there in their houses and just because you couldn't go back out. So couldn't go outside. Yes, they did. So they would just tinker with their little tools and stuff, and that's how they got into the watch. That's how they got into watches. See that? You come to court thinking you're here for work and you learn about historical. That's useless, but still fun. So, claim to fame. One of my U.S. history class in college, guess who? Ken Jennings. From the guy who won set the record on Jeopardy. He's now the host of Jeopardy. You didn't know that? And he's a good friend of mine. Smartest guy I've ever met in my life. He has a fountain of useless knowledge. Just I'm going to confess something. So one day, my client arrested trafficking in cocaine at Courtroom shoes. And so during the judge asked me to put on the record that
Alexis Encarnacion.
my client was at Courtroom shoes. It was just a complete, you know, and the whole audience was just like sort of everyone I hear her start laughing. I'm like, that was not good. Yeah. Justice Board. Could have slept in.
Thanks.
I've learned that noble aspirations are just that, they're just aspirations. They're never going to be, they'll never come to reality or fruition. So speaking of that, the ABA was asked me, I said, how did I go to formal legal education? I said, well, instead of 3 years, to make it 6 months, 1 semester. Just take the basics and you're good to go. Let's go. And that's why I truly agree. So it's great. Yes. And useless repetition that made you think, oh, this must be something really important. So, like, wow, we're like equivalent to medical school. That's like one nice thing about medical school. My cousin says, you know, the heart is a heart, whether you're in California or Florida, it's the same thing. So there's no, you don't have to. That's right. You know, literally, I'm also licensed in DC, but for the most part, I'm not taking other bars. I'm here until I think I did Florida a lot until I realized every July, because everything changes.